Hey everybody, Kyle Hilliard here with Imran.
Howdy.
Imran, you got to play Star Fox 2.
I did, the unreleased Star Fox 2.
I'm jealous, because I always want to play this.
You can be, yeah, that's an option.
Okay, so we got about 9 minutes of footage here of the game. Now, the whole, if you're unfamiliar with why this is an exceptional thing, Star Fox 2 was completed back in 96, it looks like, is what they're saying about. But they just shelved the whole game in favor of working on Star Fox 64, and the game never came out. And now it will be coming out with the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, which is crazy. Like, this is a chapter for Star Fox that just we never thought would, publicly exist. And Imran, you played a bit of it. Tell us about it. What's going on here? What are we seeing?
So I've played this game, like, it was released, like, kind of leaked onto the internet many years ago.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Well, I mean, like, the hackers and
there are versions of it are findable, which I believe.
But it's not a complete version. It's not the actual version that Nintendo. It was an incomplete version.
Yes, Dylan Cuthbert, who was
this is the first time we got to play like the real version of Star Fox 2.
Yeah, Dylan Cuthbert, who was a programmer for this game, he said he would check in on those leaked builds from time to time, and said that he never saw one that was 100% or where they left it. It was always like 90% or 95%. So this is the completed game that Imran is playing here.
So like actually playing this game makes a lot of later Star Fox games make sense because they took a lot from this. So the very first thing you do is you might have noticed like there was a character select. So you pick your initial pilot, then you pick your wingman. And for this one, since I've played as Fox so often, I figured I'd try Falco and then pick Fox as the wingman. So the basic idea here is that missiles are besetting on Corneria, and Sergeant Pepper is imploring you to go take care of the missiles. Since I didn't want to really show the missile gameplay, it didn't seem going to be like that interesting for video, so we decided that we're going to go take on some other things. So screw Corneria for right now. We're going to go take on the battle carrier and see the energy core. And like, this initial thing makes it look a lot like Star Fox DS. I can't remember the Star Fox Command, I think the name of that game was.
Which was a pretty cool game.
Yeah, I like that game a decent bit. But it had that little map screen, and you actually physically traveled to everywhere you needed to go.
Yeah.
So for Star Fox 2, what you do is you highlight something and you just hold B to make your ships move towards it. So while you're moving towards it, you can see the missiles are also moving on their own to the places they're besieging. But we're ignoring those for right now. We're heading to the carrier. And when I actually got to the carrier, it made a lot of Star Fox Zero make sense.
Okay.
Because there's missions in Star Fox Zero where you have to actually go inside things and transform into different or like the chicken walker thing, or go as your Starwing or your R-Wing to lay siege to that. So that's sort of what this thing is based on too. That you go in and you basically need to destroy a core in the middle.
Yeah, and one time we had even, when they were really pushing Star Fox Zero for Wii U, one of the things we asked Miyamoto at an E3 was like, are we ever going to see Star Fox 2? And at the time, which was like 2-3 years ago now, he kind of implied like, no, everything that we did in that game, we have now been able to recreate in other things, like the Chicken Walker. Like that was a Star Fox 2 thing that they were able to improve and finally release for Star Fox Zero. So the frame rate is pretty rough. Like, how does it feel to play it? Does it feel super dated immediately, or is it still kind of charming?
It feels like it looks like it's not gonna win any awards for smooth controls. Really, it's a Super FX. It's a 3D game on the SNES.
Yeah,
like they really had to hack this together to make it work in the first place. Like when it was a retail release, but it's smoother than you would think it is. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not 3DO quality, like, terribleness, but it works out fairly well.
Yeah.
And this is, like we were talking about the Chicken Walker. This doesn't control great. Like, there were parts of this where I was getting actually motion sick.
Oh, yeah.
Just trying to control this thing, and it's not a complicated level design, so they're not trying to ask you to do more than you can actually have to do. Like, this is not going to be testing anyone's mettle. It's pretty much moving forward and blasting doors open. And even that's a little difficult with these controls.
So what do you do? Are you using the D-pad basically to just like... Are you using the L and R buttons at all? Or like how are you controlling it exactly?
It's basically tank controls.
Okay.
and like it's a little bit of acceleration. So like if you played a Resident Evil game, this shouldn't be impossible, but it's not. Like I found it easier to just transform into the R-Wing here and just fly forward.
Okay.
And then like when you actually get to the end, it is just a core that's a boss, and it's, if you've ever played any like Star Fox boss, even some Zelda bosses, this is not going to be extremely difficult to do.
Okay. It is weird. It's a weird thing, but to see just the little orange sort of triangles on the corner of the ship, it's like, that's not, Star Fox needs blue. Like, why does he have an orange ship? It's just throwing me
this
off
is
a little
Falco's ship, so...
Oh, well, even Falco's supposed to have a blue ship. He doesn't have orange. What's wrong with him?
But this is not a... Like, you just blast those edges, and, like, the feeling I got from this is this would not look out of place as a PC indie game today.
Yeah, maybe with a,
like going
with
for
a
that
better
kind
frame
of
rate,
PS1
maybe.
aesthetic.
It is. I mean, it's fantastic to have just as a history piece of like, man, like to pull this off on the Super Nintendo at the time is really impressive, for what it is.
Yeah, like the story goes that they pulled it out because they didn't want it to compete with like existing 3D graphics or the N64. No one, I don't know if that's actually like true.
Yeah.
But in '96, this would have looked pretty okay.
Yeah.
So from there, I'm ignoring the missiles. I think Corneria's at 10% health already. So we're just kind of leaving it to die.
Yeah, who cares about Corneria? It's just your home player.
Yeah, Sergeant Pepper he'll get the Lonely Hearts Club together and we'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. Actually, I said it's Fox's home planet. I don't think it is. I think it's just a mercenary. So
this one's one of the free-roaming dogfight levels.
Okay, which were a big part of the Nintendo 64 game. Yeah,
basically this is what they pulled off as the main innovation of Star Fox 64. So this is a dogfight against Pigma. Most of these dogfight levels are going to be against Star Wolf Team. This one's just against Pigma. I tried to try out the cockpit view, which generally I'm not a huge fan of in most games, but I wanted to basically see how the game holds up in this asteroid field, and it holds up surprisingly well. It's not any worse performing than the rest of the game. So I just kind of had the problem of actually getting him on target with the current controls. You kind of really appreciate how much the analog stick actually added to Star Fox 64.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Because this weird because the D-pad can't really tell how you're decelerating and accelerating. It just sort of matches the digital output.
Yeah, it's just on and off.
Yeah, it's not working super well. And here, Falco kind of meets his fate colliding into an asteroid. So from there, you get the game over screen, but the way this game works is because I chose a main character and I chose a wingman, you can just continue as the wingman. So Fox, having watched Falco die, is going to go just step in and take care of this.
Oh, good for him. Can you go straight to Venom? Is that something you tried to do?
I didn't try to do it. They wanted me to just try these things typically. Okay. So I do wonder if you can just finish the game off.
Yeah, you might be able to. That'd be a cool
just Breath of the Wild style, just get straight for Andross.
Sprint right there. Cool. Well, that's. I think we've got a little bit more footage that you can take a look at. We don't want to rob you of that, but that's a good look at Star Fox 2, which is brand new in a weird way for the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. It's such a strange thing.
It's definitely worth trying out because it is a historical artifact. If you're at all interested in the history of games, it's very cool to that a Super Nintendo game from Nintendo is coming out in 2017.
Very weird. All right, well, thanks for checking it out, Imran, and thanks for sending us a video. And then Skyping in from across the country to tell us about it.
Yep, thank you.